Hey everyone, this is the podcast Life in Motion. I'm Heather. This is Jamie. Today we are continuing our conversation about parenting. And my goodness, this was unexpected for me.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I just kind of thought we would be talking about the fun parts of parenting.
Yeah.
We got to the deeper parts of parenting.
We did.
And
the parts that really
challenge us
and pull on our heartstrings
Yeah.
and all the things. I think you're going to learn something from this. Is that fine to tell them they're going to learn?
I hope.
I hope you're going to learn something.
Or this challenges you or encourages you or wherever you're at in your parenting journey, that this helps you take the next step wherever the Lord is leading you.
That's good. Let's get started.
Okay, so last month we were talking about launching kids and where we're at with this new fall season. And we just scratched the surface of talking about parenting styles and ditches that we can get into as parents. And so it stirred our hearts. And we felt like we should continue on that path.
We should help the world with their parenting.
For another episode.
Of course.
Because we've got, between us, how many years of parenting experience?
I thought you were going to say how many children. Oh my goodness, if we combined all the years of all of our kids, that's too much math.
I've been a parent for 23 years.
I thought you meant like adding 23 plus 21 plus, because you combined that many years of experience. We've got 8 children between the two of us, ranging in age from 11 to 23. So we're very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been through a lot with our kids, and learned a lot and have observed a lot.
Sure.
So today we're just going to dabble in our expertise.
Because that's what we do best is dabble. For the record, we mentioned this last month, but we have not done it all right. We've done a lot of it wrong. So we're willing to kind of share some of those missteps to hopefully help other people not have to make the same mistakes we have.
Yeah. So where do we start?
I think we start where we ended last time, which was talking a little bit about the two primary ditches. There's probably more than 2 ditches, but you can only have 2 ditches.
We're just going to make broad generalizations.
That's what we
here.
do. Yeah. So the ditch of parenting of being over the top controlling, authoritarian, because authoritative is good. Authoritative is like you have some boundaries, you have some expectations, and you hold your kids to those, but in a loving atmosphere. And then the other ditch would be, I just want to be your friend, laissez-faire, just whatever you want. Which reminds me, this isn't our story, but your daughter-in-law, Drew, was telling me that she's a pre-K teacher. She's a pre-K teacher, and she said that a family that was coming to school, they met all the families before school started, and they're asking parents, like, what is your discipline style at home, trying to get to know the kids and how they're going to be able to best work with the kids. It's a public school, so lots of kids in one class, so they're really trying to know going into the school year how to do things. And one mom was like, oh, we don't discipline. And so the teacher was like, okay, what do you mean by that? And she said something along the lines of they don't want to hurt the child's feelings. So the child gets what he or she wants. So that child was also still in diapers, going into pre-K, like all the things.
Oh my
Drew
goodness.
was like, oh, well, we are going to have to come up with some, some ideas of discipline for your child so that it will work in the school year. But so that would be the extreme of laissez-faire.
Extreme.
Like, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I think those ditches are big and deep, and there's lots of ways they manifest.
I think if we talk about that laissez-faire, like you see that and then as the kids get older, and I would be more prone to fall into this trap than you would, of seeing or knowing that your child is in a situation that you disagree with, and just ignoring it. Just like, you're knowing that your son is looking at porn.
Oh, and ignoring it.
And you would just be like, I don't want to have that conversation, so I'm going to pretend that that's not happening, or that's going to go away, or that's just normal. Boys will be boys
Yeah.
or something like that. I would be more prone to fall in that ditch.
Okay.
For some things.
And then I would be more prone to fall into the other ditch and be like, we're never having any more screens in our house ever. No phones, no TVs, no computers. Rip them out of the wall, throw them away, control the situation. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if the root of both of those ditches is fear.
Yeah. I mean,
You know what I mean? Because like when I go into control mode, it's because I trust myself more than I trust just letting it happen by chance, or maybe even more than I trust God in a certain situation. Like I had better take care of this, or maybe burying your head in the sand because it's too scary to have to face this.
yeah, I can totally see fear showing up in different parenting decisions that I made. Fear that they're going to hurt themselves.
Sure.
Certainly seasons of maybe rebellion that my kids are going through, of
Yeah.
fear that they're going to do irreparable damage to themselves or
Sure,
something.
sure.
One of my kids likes to go jumping off of bridges and
I know.
cliffs, and
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
But boys need risk in their life. They
Well-
need challenge. And so it's like I let him go and I give him every piece of wisdom that I have. And
What's challenging is not every boy is hardwired to that extreme, but this son of yours definitely has been his whole life.
Yeah.
Remember, you and Whit went on that ministry trip where you were preaching in Africa somewhere, and all your kids had to be divvied up because you have so many. So
Yeah.
different people had different kids, and we had Elliot.
that's all right. He knows who he is.
Okay. I'm like, I just told who the jumper is. We had one of your kids, and I took him to the park. He had to have been like 7. I mean, he was
Yeah.
little. And Eleanor was a baby, and we got out of the car at the park. And before I could get Eleanor out of the car and into the stroller, he was on the very tip top of the playground equipment. And I was like,
Not even on the
Oh, no.
playground part of the equipment, but on
No.
the roof of the playground.
and I'm like, I'm going to need you to get down now, please, carefully. But
Yeah.
I mean, and I think because, oh goodness, I'm just going on all kinds of rabbit trails, but I think that he's hardwired that way, which requires you to parent him differently than you parent your other kids. So parenting is hard because there's these ditches, but then we also have kids that every one of them are different
Yeah.
and require different approaches. And I think sometimes we just try to do it the same way for all the kids, and that hurts them because they're different.
Yeah.
They're wired different. They respond to correction different.
Yeah.
And we're babies ourselves.
And then you include outside influences of
Sure.
what will people think, or
Right.
am I keeping up, or my kids aren't as good as. So
goodness, yeah.
I better get them into music lessons or
Right.
sports lessons or something because
Yeah.
they're falling behind.
Yeah. It's funny how you may have already referenced this, but maybe some of your insecurities as a kid, and then you begin parenting and you want to shield your kids from having your negative experiences. So I feel like, well, middle school is hard for everyone. So, I mean, no shock there. But I feel like I must have some, I can't even remember. So maybe there's suppressed memories. I don't know. But I must have had some insecurities in middle school, which who doesn't? But Eleanor just recently in their youth group. So she's a 6th grader, youngest grade in our church's youth group. And they've been talking about starting gospel circles. So basically starting a small group at your school. So you pull a few friends together, and one day a week, I mean, I don't know what the training says, but one day a week, over lunch, you bring your Bible, you open up the Word, you pray, you read some scripture, you discuss it, and Eleanor takes everything at church very seriously, which I love. So she is starting a gospel circle. And so she starts telling me about it. She has a lesson plan written out, all her notes, all the things she's going to ask the kids, what the content she's going to cover, all the things. And right before I dropped her off for school, the day that because she was going to start it on a Thursday, and that's the day she was inviting the people to the gospel circle. And I just, in my heart, felt like, what if everyone says no?
Yeah.
Like I almost said to her, well, let's slow your roll. Let's think about this.
1 more week.
Let's talk through it. Let's talk about how you're going to invite people.
Let me text the moms.
Yeah, let me get ahead of you. Let me help. And for some reason, just kind of the thought, it had to have been the Holy Spirit because I'm not really this sharp. The thought just came like let her do it, like let her fail. Mm-hmm. And the thought that had to have been my flesh because she didn't fail. She succeeded. She invited 4 girls, 3 said yes, 1 said no. They got started. They're on week 5. It's going quite well. But something in me was like, protect her. Mm-hmm. Like they're all going to say no, protect her. Mm-hmm. Don't let her go it alone.
What if they laugh at her?
Yeah.
What if she's rejected?
Yeah.
What if
And it has not been easy. It's funny at a Christian school how many kids are completely offended that they're not in the gospel circle. And Eleanor's just like, I only have a few seats in the gospel circle, but I could help you start your own. Well, they don't want to do that. They just want to be mad at her.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't been without, with just complete ease, but just my knee-jerk reaction of don't let anybody hurt your kid.
Yeah.
And my desire maybe to overparent or overfunction to help her. Anyway.
Yeah.
I let her do it. She did get 1 rejection. She is learning it's actually harder than she thought it was going to be. She's running out of content. I was like, the Bible's a big book, girl. And she's just like, well, I mean, like, we already did Proverbs 1. It's real sweet. But anyway, she'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So far, Heather, I feel like this has been a little harder to record than our normal conversations. But I'm not sure why. What do you think?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I think in many ways, the subject of parenting and being a parent is more vulnerable than sex. Oh. I think
okay.
that...
Tell me more.
I will tell you a lot.
Okay.
I mean, it is very difficult to detach yourself from your kids and the choices that your kids make.
Sure.
And your children's behavior. Some of that's on you. Like if little Johnny is never disciplined,
yeah,
that's on you as a parent.
Yeah.
But when you get a kid that's just determined, they're a strong-willed child, and they want to be in control of their life, their situations, and they're going to do what they want to do, regardless of the consequences that you as a very good parent have set up for them. Mm-hmm. When they're going to make their own choices, you still feel a reflection of those choices. And so to me, parenting is far more vulnerable, and people can judge you on your parenting based on the outcome of this 13-year-old here.
That has their own will.
Yeah.
And Okay.
But, I mean, are teachers judging you because your child is not doing well in science or not doing well in any of their classes? It's just like this back of your mind thing, or maybe front of your mind thing that people are thinking I'm a bad mom.
That's fascinating because I tend more towards a personality of pride and arrogance. I don't feel that as much as I feel nervous that my kids maybe would be judged, not me. I know some of the negative thoughts people have towards a person with a big personality. Once you're 50, you've experienced some hardship because of your personality. So when I see that come out, like when I see my 2 kids with big personalities having their big personality, I sometimes get nervous or embarrassed on their behalf because I don't want them to have to experience some of that yucky.
Yeah.
So interesting. But I still think, like, as we were talking about the parenting ditches, and if they're both tied to fear, that's a fear. Mm-hmm. It's like for you, like, will I be judged or what have you? And for me, it's like, will you judge my kid who I care so deeply about? Like, I feel less nervous about my kids walking through a season of sin or whatever. I feel less nervous about them coming out on the other side because I feel like we work hard to give them the tools to overcome sin and things like that. But I do get nervous about how will you look at my kid? They're your little hearts beating out of your body. That's what that's saying.
It is, and I think it's incredibly vulnerable too. I mean, and that's when your child is meeting somebody, and you're standing there, and they're like, you say, "This is Mr. Smith,"
Yeah,
and they say, "Hi," and you're just like, nice and loud. Hello, nice to meet you. Hold out your hand, shake their hand. And they just, I mean, that's like, Can I make an excuse for them? They're having a bad day, you know, or I'm sorry, it's incredibly vulnerable. And that's a very small little situation. But
sure.
I mean, it's scary. It is so scary to be parenting kids, and especially now that the internet is out there somewhere recording things that your kids do.
You know what's funny? I didn't know we were going to go this direction, but here's a little, I don't think fear, maybe. We've determined that Eleanor won't have a phone for yet some time. And, it's really easy when you make that decision when they're 8, and then increasingly becomes more difficult as they get older because all their friends start getting phones. And there is a certain level of it would be easier. Like I think when we drop her off at youth group on Wednesdays, and then I have to pick her up, and she doesn't know where I'm parked in the parent parking lot. And there's thoughts that just it'd be so much easier if I could just text her and tell her I'm parked in row A. Spot 3, or I'm here, get out here. Yeah. Instead of just sitting there going is she ever going to come? Is she ever going to find me? How are we ever going to get home?
Yeah. How long am I going to sit here?
Yeah. So they get older and it gets harder to hold to that. They're not going to have a phone. But I saw this, this commercial or whatever from John, whoever that wrote the Anxious Generation book. Mm-hmm. Even if I knew his name, Quinn, I don't think I could say it. So if you find it, great. But it was like a commercial on his Instagram post or whatever. And it was wild because it was the parents saying goodnight to their child, tucking them in bed, and saying good night, this predator from so-and-so, it's just going to stand in the corner. They're not going to bother you. Don't worry about it. This person that you think is, 13-year-old boy, 47-year-old man from another country, he'll just stand here. He's not going to bother you. Just going to be right here. It's the whole bedroom is filled with all these really terrible things that you would never willingly expose your child to. And the first thought when I saw that commercial was, yes, that's why she's not getting a phone. And then the second thought, which this is not a confessional episode, but maybe it is. Second thought was, I should repost this so that everybody that has a kid Eleanor's age would pull it together and not give their kids phones to help me out. Because I need them to be on my team to make me parenting my kid easier. I need all of you guys to take your kids' phones away from them. But almost she's being left out. She's not on the text threads with the friends because she doesn't have a phone. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me. It's, but the thought wasn't I want to spread this so that they'll have knowledge of the things that might be harming their kids. It's more I need you guys to line up with what I believe so that my life can be easier.
Is that really what you're thinking? Or are you thinking you guys are doing a terrible job parenting and you need to know that kids should not have phones?
I don't know. I don't think it's that, but maybe
there's
underneath.
There's a tiny bit of that.
Yeah, maybe so.
When I see a 12-year-old with the phone.
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that, but oh goodness, that kind of leads me to
get into the
ugly underbelly. Oh my goodness. I was listening to Whit's podcast, Tell Me More, when we record our podcast and it doesn't come out for several weeks. So by the time it comes out, it'll be an old episode of Whit's. But he and Blake were talking about the book of James, being doers of the word and not hearers only. And Whit was talking about being a Christian and how a lot of times in culture, people think they don't mind Christians too much as long as you're not too radical. Mm-hmm. And he said they actually have it backwards because the people they think are radical are not really doing what Scripture says usually. And usually the problem is not them being radical. It's them not being radical for Jesus enough. And felt convicting to me in lots of areas of my life, but like, am I a radically Christian parent? And what I mean by that is like, am I really parenting from a Christian worldview, a scriptural worldview? Am I really walking out and living my faith as I raise my kids? So like, I know I wasn't for sure when Cooper and I were at odds with one another when he was 15, because I remember Brian saying like, the end goal is that he loved Jesus and hopefully we have a relationship with him. And I think that seems to be like scriptural. But I was like, I don't care if he likes me at all, because I was fearful that he was going down a bad path. So it was like, I'm throwing up all these controlling things. Like he's not gonna leave my side, and he's not gonna do this. And I like threw away, I couldn't be radically Christian enough. I couldn't trust the Lord with him. I could only trust myself. So I start stiff-arming the Lord and the Lord's counsel and even my husband's counsel, because I could do a better job than God could.
Yeah.
I want to be radical enough in my faith that I'm teaching it to my kids little by little over the course of their life, and I can trust them into his care, that I don't have to go before them and knock hurdles down, but that they can learn to walk with the Lord through their own hurdles. And I think it starts when they're pretty young.
Yeah.
Letting them face some hardship. You said this, I think, before we started recording, that a lot of parenting, I don't know if you said you feel this way or culture feels this way, is we want our kids to be happy. I think we do. We want our kids to be happy. But sometimes I think out of fear, we then do for them what they should be doing for themselves because they would be happier. But in reality, Scripture says that we push through suffering and endure with perseverance, because that's where the goal is. That's where the joy is found. That's where you learn to do things with the Lord. So if your kid never has any perseverance and they don't learn some things the hard way.
Well, I have been learning and observing this in many different areas. And I mean, you see it all across God's creation, is growth only happens through adversity.
Yeah.
It only happens when we experience something uncomfortable and we are able to move through it.
Yeah.
And as parents, if we're constantly smoothing the way, our children are not really growing. They might be getting taller, but they're not really growing up emotionally. And like from babies, you can see this if you encounter a couple at church and they haven't been attending a while, and you see them and you're like, where have you been? And they're like, oh, little baby Johnny doesn't like to go to the nursery. He cries every time we drop him off. And so it's just better for him if we stay home.
Oh, okay.
And how is he ever going to learn that separation? That unless he experiences those difficult emotions. A child that is an only child and they're a little toddler. And I heard somebody talking about this in 2020. They had a little baby, grew up, during that era where we don't leave the house, we don't interact with a lot of other people. So they had never experienced sharing their toys.
Oh, sure.
So then the first time that another child comes and takes their toy away from them, they're screaming like they've just been stabbed in the gut. No. But they haven't experienced that challenge, that emotional adversity.
Sure.
I mean, and this is happening on small levels, on big levels.
It's happening on big levels because people's parents are going with them to job interviews.
Yes.
Which, that is mind-blowing to me. But, so if it's happening all the way when like your kid is graduating from college and you're going to their job interview with them, it's happening in incremental ways all the way growing up. That was the wrong word, but that's okay.
Yeah. But it's, I just want them to be happy. So, which is such a vague term that is, then you shouldn't experience anything uncomfortable or difficult, which really they need to experience.
I'm not traditionally a rule follower, so I don't know what it is in me, that would follow certain rules. But I learned so much as a young parent. Your father-in-law was our church pastor at the time. He founded our church, and he was still the pastor at the time before Whit took over. And he would tell us things like, when you have to tell your kids no about something, like you don't just, if you can, you don't just make it a hard no. You find a replacement. And I think that works like, if you're trying to break a habit, it works with breaking a habit. Like you can't just say, I'm never going to drink soda again. Well, what are you going to drink when you get thirsty? Like come up with a plan, have a plan in place. But, he would say like there'd be a party the boys couldn't go to or whatever. So he'd say, well, you can't do that, but we can have pizza, video games, friends over, all of the things. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where I was going with that story. I don't have any idea how it ties into anything.
No, I think that...
I think I've got a note on that exact. And my father-in-law once said, I'm just kidding.
So we think that by telling them no, that we're going to hurt their feelings, we're going to make them sad.
I think sometimes you need to listen to an expert, a trusted expert. So that's where I was going with, like Pastor George would tell us things like parenting tips. It would work into a sermon. I don't even remember what the sermon was about, but I would hear something and latch onto it. And I think there's so many people that want to help us with our kids if you live in community at the church, that you really don't have to do it all by yourself. I remember the parent meeting when all of my kids, when they moved from the lower elementary to the intermediate building at our school. And I don't know why I remember so clearly, but I remember at the parent night, the teachers saying, this is a year of tremendous growth, which means fifth grade is challenging. It's hard academically. It's hard because of their age. Let them learn the lessons. And every year, and I've had 3 kids go through it, but every year I've heard them say, if they have trouble with something, send them to talk to us. Don't come on their behalf.
Yeah.
If they aren't understanding something, have them come ask. And what they're trying to do is partner with you as in your parenting and saying, we're actually experts on this particular age.
Yeah.
And we'll help, like we care about them. We'll help them. I think sometimes we think the teachers are out to get our kids. And I think most
of the kids think that the teachers are out to get them.
Right. But I think most of the time, like if they've given 20 years of their life to teach the exact same grade, they know more about that age in life than you do.
Oh, sure.
And you can lean into that. But I think a lot of times we out of fear go, no, but you don't know my baby.
Yeah.
But you don't know. I think that's why youth group is so important. Parents don't send their kids to youth group sometimes. And I just think like, these people have given their lives to study this age of kid, and this is my first time through. Or for me, my third time through with a different kid with a different personality. I still don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I want to partner with people that will help and point me in a good direction.
When Elliot was in 5th grade, in my opinion, the most challenging year of school.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's a smart guy and would do his math without showing his work.
Okay.
And
that was probably against the rule.
Yes, you got to show your work.
Yeah.
And he is very stubborn and knows how to do everything.
But he could figure it out in his head, so what a waste of his time.
Yes. The teacher's out to get him.
Yeah, the teacher's out to get him, right.
So he's scoring low on his math tests and homework because he's not showing his work. And it's a real struggle. And he's like, Mom, she is just out to get me, blah, blah, blah. We're hearing the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we had to have him go in, schedule a meeting with your teacher, and you need to go in and talk to her about this, of how you think she's out to get you.
Yeah.
And he did. And I went and I just sat silently while he explained, I know how to do all of this and I'm doing it correctly and there's the right answer. And so
give me my points.
I don't understand why I'm not getting my points.
Sure.
And she explained to him and they worked it out. I mean, he did not necessarily submit to, oh, you're trying to teach me something here.
Yeah.
Side note, he just took his first college math test and
let's leave this in.
Scored an 82 and he took a pre-test and he didn't study for it or really even try on the pre-test. So now he's in this
entry level
college math class. So he listens for the first few minutes. I know what they're talking about, watches a show.
In his class.
In his class.
Yep.
So he takes his first test. He scores an 82. He was the first one done with the test and, walked out of class, and it's all online. Doesn't have to show his work or anything. And he's like, I was right all along.
Oh my goodness. Remember back in 5th grade?
I know what I'm doing.
Oh my goodness.
He is such, a knucklehead. And you're just like, well, it's your life now. See how that keeps working for you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
If you're anything like me, this has been a hard subject to really talk about. Because anytime I talk about my kids, I think about things that I'm doing wrong, things that I need to be doing better. I can tell you, like, with my youngest, she's the ultimate homebody. And so when I suggest, why don't we do some music lessons? Or why don't we do this or that? She's like, no, I don't want to do it. What I know would be really good for her is let's go ahead and give those music lessons a try. You're not going to like it, but we're going to give it a try. And
So it would be good for her, and so how's that coming along?
Haven't scheduled any music lessons yet, but it's kind of like, part of it is it's going to inconvenience me.
Yeah.
It's going to make her uncomfortable. I'm going to have to argue with her to get her out of the house, to get her to do this. And so I avoid. I'm just like, let's avoid both of us being uncomfortable. We're perfectly happy here at home.
Yeah.
So, it just, you think about and you examine your parenting, and it is scary.
Yeah.
You're always questioning, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
And then something comes up and your kid is like not doing things right. And you're like, I have done everything wrong. And it is incredibly vulnerable. Probably what is helped me the most is to just pray.
Yeah.
Simple prayers. Lord, I trust my children to your care.
Yes.
I know that you love them more than I do.
Yeah.
For whatever decision you're making regarding whatever it is, it's so hard.
Yeah.
So hard to parent. In this day and age, I don't even know where all these tears are coming from. My kids are doing great.
Sure. Oh, sure.
But it is hard.
Yeah.
And you want the best for them. You want them to succeed. You want them to become their best self.
Yeah.
And as a parent, you are not capable of getting them there.
Right.
It's not, you can't do it. It's not on you.
Yeah.
You're doing what you can do, but really they're in the Lord's care.
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do is trust them to the Lord.
Yeah. We're such different people. Heather, I think it's really beautiful what you're saying. I don't feel those same feelings exactly, but man, I'm a mama bear, protector of my kids, and I would hurt you if I thought you were going to hurt my kids. I would hurt you first. But I think for me, like you said, pray simple prayers, and certainly I agree with that. But I think when you lean more in my direction, where one of the constants in your life that you've had to really watch is pride and arrogance, I think my simple prayers might look slightly different and be that David prayer, like, examine me, Lord, and show me if there's anything unrighteous in my heart. Because as I ask the Lord questions like that, he does begin to show me areas I'm doing it wrong, even in my parenting, which feels like I'm doing so well. Like all the parenting advice, I take it. I take it to heart. My pastor says something, I do it. The teacher says, this is what we're doing this year. I go, okay, I'm on your side. I do all the things right. And so my ditch leads me to my knees in prayer, saying, Lord, check my heart. And I said this last month, but it's really wild to parent adult kids that by the grace of God really like you. and then are willing to point out things and you go, oh. I mean, the same conversation that I alluded to last month where Cooper's like, Mom, I'd appreciate it if you don't say this. I've never said that thing again, but now I've said something different. And he's brought it up to me again. And I'm just like, I said to him just yesterday on the phone, I was like, I'm trying so hard. He said, I know you are. That's why I'm telling you, because I know you are. I know you are. But he likes me enough that he'd rather clear the air so that we can have a relationship.
How great is that?
It's great, but I think it's an answer to that prayer also. Like, I'm like, Lord, show me if there's anything in me that needs to be changed. And then he's showing me through my kid, and it hurts my feelings every time.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, could you show me through Heather? It wouldn't be quite as cutting if it wasn't my flesh and blood that I birthed and raised. Like, show me through somebody else.
Yeah.
But knocking off the rough edges. And I just think we're going to continue to hopefully become more like Jesus in our parenting. Mm-hmm. I think that would be the greatest goal.
Yeah.
So,
as hard as parenting is, I believe it is one of our greatest discipleship opportunities,
oh my goodness,
not only for ourselves, but for our kids. And that if we are willing, I mean, the Lord can really move us and shape us, form us into his image, not only for ourselves, but for our kids, that we then achieve that end goal of whatever it is. You know, what is our end goal? We talked about this. And it's escaping me. Our end of achieving our children being Christ followers themselves, that they follow the Lord. Is there a Bible verse that says, follow me as I follow Christ?
No,
yes, there is.
Oh, I was like, I think we just say that ourselves.
I think Paul says that.
Oh, yes.
Follow me as I follow Christ. Yeah. And that is, you know, the ultimate challenge, as if we call ourselves Christians, that we should be able to say that to our kids. Follow me as I follow Christ. That they should be able to know that the decisions that we make are decisions of integrity.
Yes.
That the choices that we make, the way that we lead our kids, what we're pointing them to is a life that follows Christ.
And I don't need to tag on to anything. Everything you said was perfect.
You have wisdom.
I love when I go, and also. Like, you just dropped some real truth. And then, like, also, I've got some 2 cents also. I was thinking, Heather, I was reminded as you were speaking, as you know, if we want our kids to follow us as we follow Christ, how we walk through hardship will be a model for them, even if it takes them a while to come around.
Yeah.
I was thinking, remember when I prayed that silly prayer, like 15 years ago or so, like, Lord, whatever you want my kids to learn while they're under our care, we're here for it. And then, man, did we have some hard lessons for them to learn, how to navigate phones and how to navigate porn and how to navigate relationships and all of the things. So I would encourage others that in this world you will have trouble. Mm-hmm. So don't take all the trouble away from your kids. Instead, walk with them through it so that they can learn and experience how to navigate life as a Christ follower. Absolutely. Because if you never get to do it with them and walk through some junk with them, then how will they learn? And the goal, I think, is that one day they do grow up and launch successfully into the world. So go ahead and let them see you and do it with them.
Yeah. So. Well, thanks for joining us this week. This was unexpected for me, honestly.
Unexpected?
I thought, we'll just talk about the fun things about parenting or whatever.
Yeah.
My judgments about other people's parenting.
Oh, my word. You came in to, like, let me tell you guys.
But then I realized, oh, man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
And you're right. Even though I don't emote as much as you do, dealing with kids, talking about your kids, it is your very heartbeat, and it's a really big deal. Yeah. So thanks again for joining us this month on Life in Motion, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.